Okay, welcome back to the Forensic Unplugged channel, guys. Some behind the scenes testing. Now, some of you have been asking, where the hell's this bloody citrus video? Fair play, fair play. I've just been filming a lot recently. Anyway, you don't care about excuses. I'm working on it this week and I'm going to get it done this week. So this citrus video is my priority at the moment. And I'm just going through here and doing my prices and concentration metrics, you know, which I'm going to be marking on and looking at the destructions and how versatile these kind of products are, all that sort of stuff. I don't know if I talked about it in other videos, but big difference between the products. Some of them are like advertised and instructions only to be used as like pre-washes, like these two here, I believe. Some of them instructions can be used as wheel cleaners. Some of them have got instructions which allow you to use them as everything, like this one. That can only be used according to the instructions in a snow foam lance. So you can't even put it in a pump sprayer, you know, kind of a higher concentration, more product to counter for it. It has to be used in a snow foam lance according to the instructions, etc., etc. So I'm trying to factor all that in as well. In these bottles, I've got the products mixed out at 1 to 19, which is 5% PIR, which is a good across the board ratio of testing. Now, of course, some of these products aren't formulated to be used at 5% PIR, which is fine. I'm going to do a comparison test of all of them at 5% so that I can get a gauge of how they compare. And I'm going to do the same degreasing test on the dirt simulator with all of them at their usable concentration. So if there's a ratio, I'll go somewhere in the middle. Or, you know, so we test them at their how you should be using them, and we test them pound for pound. So we do both. So that's kind of quite cool. Just interesting to look at the products. Just look at what comes out when they're mixed with water. So this one is the Carchem one, and it has this really chalky film in there. When I bought 5 litres of this, it was full up with tiny little round balls of like crystal. It was all shaky and crunchy, so something that goes a bit crystalline with that one. The Auto Finesse one is just oh no, that's Auto Bright, sorry, that's different. That's just clean, you know, it's just clear. The Shiny Garage one, same with that, same with the Auto Finesse. This has got a slight residue at the bottom, and I don't know what that is, but interesting. It's pretty well dissolved. Infinity Wax one is okay, although it's got this very heavy sediment. It's almost like soap in it, and you get all these chunks, even if you shake the hell out of it. I think that's, I don't know, but that looks like something has saponified, turned to soap. So maybe the alkaline is mixed with the citrus oil or something. There's a bit of soap being filmed in there. I don't know, I'm guessing. The Wax Planet one is clear. The Angel Wax one is just completely clear. The Valet Pro one has a murkiness to it, but it's you know, it's fine. The Auto Glands one, it's funny actually. It's lightened off. It's got a bit less orange, and it was sort of orange there and then like white at the top, but there's no bits in it, but it's a bit murky. This one's the crystal clean detail is crystal clean clear, and the Virasol one is pretty clear as well. Just interested in that. Always like to look at the chemical. In an ideal world, you don't want bits forming in it, but sometimes it can. It's not a major problem, but yeah. So what am I preparing today? So I've got to get this video done. This must get done. And I've got to do a wax comparison on 12 of these Soft 99 waxes, find out which one's the best. I'm going to do that on the test panel, you know, and try and score them all, find out which one is the overall best Soft 99 wax. They've got so many. You'd think Fuso Coat would be the strong favourite, wouldn't you? Because it's, you know, it's going to do well on the durability and stuff. But I don't know, going to mark it all up, application and stuff, because some people don't like Fuso. So maybe there's a better wax in that range. Who knows? So I've got to work on that as well. today I've just washed off my test panel and wiped it down and buffed it so it's dry. I've got 12 products, so I need to create 12 channels down the test panel. And the best way to do this, to separate them off so I don't get any cross contamination, because it's a free rinsing test. This test isn't designed to show you how they perform if you use them. It's just designed to be fair for each one. So we do the same process. So we'll put, say, 250 ml to wet out a strip, dwell 2 minutes, rinse off low pressure. Do the same with all of them, and that gives us a cross comparison on the ability for it to degrease the dirt simulator, and that'll be interesting. I'm thinking, as well as the dirt simulator testing, with the citrus, they're really good at, after track days, at getting the rubber off of the track, and I think that's because the limonene as a solvent helps dissolve that thin layer of rubber, and APCs aren't good at doing that. So I'm thinking that a good test might be to put a thin layer of brown tar on the car, and see also which one can dissolve that as a good test of the power of the limonene, because again, you won't emulsify tar, but I think some of these citruses will have a go because of the D-limonene. So I'm thinking about that as well. Now, I've got to measure this out, so just bear with me. About 10 centimetres, 9 centimetres, 9 centimetre gaps, which is enough. So I'm going to run gaps between each strip of around 9 centimetres, which is adequate. Excuse me. Now let me just, there's a little trick to this. So what we'll do is a little bit less than that. Don't worry about the runoff. So we'll go there. And then upside down. What that does, probably didn't need to put one on the outside because it doesn't really matter, but it creates a channel. So when I got my channel there, and it stops me cross-contaminating when I pour down. So I'll just pause the video there and I'll come back once I've done all 13 of them or 12 of them, wherever many it is. It's going to be a right bit of fun. I'll be back and I'll talk about the dirt simulator. Hold on. Okay guys, so the dirt simulator is on, applied with gloves on because it's dirty, messy stuff. Trying to use the same process to get an roughly even coat over every section, although, you know, some are a bit patchier than others, but it's just part of the deal. So the dirt simulator is a key thing to take away as a simulator, but it allows me to do a consistent test like I mentioned at the start. So it's useful actually. And in my experience of using the dirt simulator, the ones that can clean it are the ones that are good at cleaning cars. The Dirt Simulator, though, it does veer on the side of being more orientated towards degreasing. But a citrus is a degreaser, really, and a cleaner, except it's not just surfactant based, it's solvent based. But ultimately, I want to see which ones can shift that Dirt Simulator. And from doing this, the ones that do really well on the Dirt Simulator are the ones that I tend to favour and find they do really well when I'm using them to clean stuff on cars. So it's a good test. It's a good test, but it will only carry a certain amount of marks in this, although we're doing 2 runs of it. I am working on a road film simulator, which will be less like the Dirt Simulator, which is almost like a greasy dirt simulator. But a road film simulator I'm working on will be different. I've just got to get it right. I tried it once and it wasn't right. It was too watery. So yeah, I think I need to play around with that, and it takes time to get it. I might never even get a good road film simulator. You never know, but I reckon I can have a go. Yeah, so that's the Dirt Simulator. John, what's in the Dirt Simulator? Trade secret. Quite a lot of people have asked me over the years if I could give them the Dirt Simulator formulation, and the answer is always respectfully no, because you know, I've had to spend the time getting it right, you know, getting that Dirt Simulator right. It wasn't just a case of making it away I go. It was a bit like making the wax. You've got to play around a few times till you get something that you can actually test with and you can recreate and use. Yeah, and if you just gave it to everyone, then it would be all over YouTube, you know, and then you lose all of the benefit of putting that work in to get something that other people haven't got. So even though it sounds a bit selfish, you've got to do that, because when I started, how many channels were doing this sort of stuff, this sort of testing with detailing products? I can't really think of any. You know, there was detailing channels out there, but not that were into really like trying to separate these products with some meaningful kind of testing. So yeah, you have to, if you come up with something, you have to keep it to yourself to stay ahead of the game. Everything else we've done is now widely used. So yeah, the more that I can keep to myself. You get the idea. You get the idea, John. Yeah, we get it. Shut them. So what I'm probably going to do is I just in terms of volume of this, I probably need to use about 250 ml, because that will easily wet out that section. And I just use the same amount of liquid, but it doesn't really matter. You could pour the whole bottle on, as long as that liquid stays on there for about 2 minutes and wets over the surface, and you free rinse and you repeat and you keep your timings good for each section, then you've got a reasonably consistent test. So I'm going to set up the Big Daddy camera, which I've got down here, and do the first Dirt Simulator test. Before I do it, I'll shake all of these pound for pound 5% PIR bottles up so they're all fully mixed. Label up the panel with the names of the product, get the products on there, get the camera ready, and then go through, film it, and see what happens. 5% is consistent to what I've done before in other videos, so it allows me also to get a gauge of how powerful these products are in comparison to APCs and snow foams, which is interesting. I'm really not sure. I'm not sure about this, but I think my gut instinct is that now I've knocked these down, they're not going to be, that's my pre-thought, so they're not going to be as effective as the snow foams on the Dirt Simulator. Primarily, before some of you go mad, because the snow foams are formulated to be used at a workable PIR through a snow foam lance. So 5% PIR ratio for a snow foam is very effective. Whereas these citruses, or a lot of these citruses, are designed to be sprayed on the car at 1 to 10, for example, or something like that, which is about roughly a 10% PIR ratio. Some of them are neat. So when you're knocking them down to 5%, are they going to be okay? I mean, these ones, that one should be 1 to 8, but it doesn't tell you if that's a snow foam lance or a pump sprayer, so I have to assume it's just 1-to-8 PIR. You know, if you convert that to PIR, whatever that is, 12% or something, I don't know. This one is designed for a snow foam lance, you know, pre-wash, and gives you all the ratios and everything like that. So's this one. So maybe in theory, this one, and this one should really probably be the best, because they've got that, with the exception of that one, that might not be lance ratio. Anyway, that's why I do this fixed 5%. So which one is going to come out on top at degreasing? Really interesting. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm as interested as you are, because then I suddenly learn, pound for pound, which ones are potent. Now, then the next argument is, are they just potent because they're surfactant rich? But who cares? If they're potent, they're potent. But that's why I want to do that bitumen test, because the surfactant doesn't affect really bitumen. It will struggle. So you'll be more reliant on the citrus. So I'm going to do this all again. I'm going to do this again. How many times? Yeah. So that's going through my head, guys. That's what's going through my head. So you get some insights into how we do this. So I've done price. I've done concentration. I've done a versatility based on the user instructions, which I think I'll talk about in the video. It's really important, because if I get citrus pre-wash and it says you can only use it in a snow foam lance, and you can only use it at this ratio, then I can't just put it in a bottle and spray onto bugs, because if anything goes wrong, and the company can say you haven't followed the instructions. It's a pre-wash that should be used at this ratio in the lance as per the instructions. So I'm marking on one, because I want a citrus that I can use for anything. I can mix it down low, wipe over my dashboard with it, spray it in my engine bay, clean wheels with it, spray it on bug splatter, remove a bit of tar with it, you know, to rubber, all that sort of stuff. I want a general purpose thing. That's why I'm adding the inclusion of versatility. Then we'll have degreasing pound for pound. Then we'll have degreasing. At relative concentration. You know, user recommended concentration, manufacturer recommended concentration. We'll have quality of instructions, surface suitability, and health and safety, as always. That's a separate category from how versatile the product is. Yeah, and I think, we'll have a safety check as well. So I'll mix them all out when I've done this 5% thing. I'll mix them all out at their recommended usage ratio. You know, use the middle ground if in doubt. If there's a big range, use the middle ground. Spray them on some polycarb, and maybe automotive paint, maybe in my test panel, and leave. So use the same amount. So get 2 mil in a pipette or something, drop them out, let those residues dry off, and see if I just wipe over them with a wet cloth, which ones go, and if any of them actually etch polycarb or etch the painted finish on this panel. I won't do it on leather, because with the APCs, it was like most of them you could use, it said all-purpose cleaners, whereas with citruses, a lot of these aren't for leather and don't say anything about leather, and are for exterior only. There's only, I think, 1, maybe 2 that says you can even use it on the interior. So the whole field would be going, would be saying, well, it's not for leather. So with an APC, I think you really want that suitability for leather. But with citrus, the fact that it's a solvent degrease, so you're probably less likely to use it on leather unless you knock it right down. So you're probably better off with an APC or a leather cleaner, aren't you? So I'm not going to do any leather testing with the citrus. Let me know what you think about that. So my safety tests are really about etching paint. I'd expect none of these to fail that, but we'll test it anyway, because I want to know. What about alkali sensitive surfaces? Aluminium test plates, Polycarb is sensitive to strong alkalis, and it's what I found with the aluminium testing is that these surfactants don't, it's almost like a pointless test. Yeah, so I'll probably just test on polycarb, which is something that's very sensitive, and you can typically, if you see like staining on headlights and stuff, or breaking down the clear coat on your headlights when you've used the wrong chemicals and too strong. So polycarb is a good one. Okay, I'm going to end the video here, guys, just bringing you in, lets you know that it's in progress. How long is it going to take before you see it? At least another week. Yeah, at least another week. Not because I couldn't get it done. If I had a full day, I could probably get it done, just because I've got other stuff going on. So probably another week. Don't forget to subscribe. Very informal, as you can see. Dumping, brain dumping. Let me know what you want to see. Let me know what products are missing from this lineup. You know, always get that. Oh, no, you haven't put this one in. You haven't put that one in. Yeah, you know, guilty. There's probably over 500 pre-washes out there from various detailing brands. You know what, you know, I say the same. I can only do so many, and it starts becoming ridiculous. So that's enough for me. If I can't find a decent one in here, I've got like detailing ones that are high concentration, popular ones. The Valet Pro is very popular. Angel Wax, great brand. Wax Planet, Infinity Wax, Stana Gloss, that's popular. Auto Finesse, very popular. Shiny Garage, popular with the detailers, you know, the trade guys. These Auto Bright that are in Halfords, you know, good products. Carchem, where you can get the, you know, you can get it really cheap. So that's so cheap when they do the discount. So that's like one of my, I always like to get a cheap offering in there. But this is the king of cheap, the Virasol. This is like the off-piste one. You know, I think that's really good to put that Virasol in there, because it costs about a tenner for 5 litres. So all the time, you know, Carchem once a year do 5 litres of their citrus for 14 quid, which is ridiculously cheap. But that's ridiculously cheap, 24/7, all the time. And I can say it's loaded with, definitely got limonene in it. Murky, I can see that, I can smell it. My concern with this is it loaded with sodium hydroxide? And I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no, because there's some telltale signs with that. Is it loaded with sodium citrates? Possibly. Is it stain? Is it going to stain? Because, John, this is a floor cleaner. It's used to clean floors. Yeah, but you can't have it staining a floor, can you? So that's why citrus, I think, is good. You know, if you went over a vinyl and this chalked up the vinyl and left like white residue everywhere, it'd be no good. So I think this has to be reasonably usable and safe on cars, but that's just going by assumptions. Yeah, so I'm really interested in this one because it's going to do well. It's going to pick up the most points on price. It's going to pick up the most points on concentration, or it's going to be up there, 1 to 200 for light cleaning. So it's straight away, this is off to a flyer. So this has got a good advantage over ones from the detailing scene. If you look at the Auto Finesse and the Stana Gloss that are closer to ready to use, 1-to-1 and neat, you know, the price difference is huge. But then do these ones, say, for example, where you're going to pay a lot of money, do they offer you anything? You know, do they have that je ne sais quoi, that real high quality that, you know, that really makes you gain enough confidence to pay the money for them? I've used both of these products. That has impressed me in the sense that it's really oily, like citrusy. It's really citrusy and it's not all soapy and foamy, which is really one thing I am kind of looking for. This one was a little bit more soapy and foamy, but this was brilliant on track day rugs. It was brilliant on track day bugs and rubber rugs. Really good. I was using the soft tip brush to just gently stroke the brushes off, and where it dwelled on the track rubber, normally I have to do that with TARDIS, and I just wiped gently on the rubber after this had had about 3 or 4 minutes of soak time, and the track rubber dissolved and come off with the soft tip brush. It's like, Jesus, that's good. So yeah, you know, these are good products, but we may well find that they're all pretty good, you know, and that is why you have to go through, do test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, add up all the marks, and the winner is the winner. And usually, I think, I've done so many tests, but usually that winner is a very, very worthy winner in a very good field. So yeah, these are underdogs at the moment. It's dangerous to talk about this before I can conduct testing. These are underdogs because they're going to get such a poor start. The others are all going to be miles ahead of them because of the price thing, rightly or wrongly. As we've said before, when we go through and mark them up and show you all the marks on the board, it allows you to then just like pause that and have a look at that and then say, I don't care about value for money, take those away, do your own maths, and or pick the ones that are giving you high scores in the areas you want. Because these are both pretty damn good. That looks full because I've gone through, I had to buy it again to get the X version, but in there is the Stana-Gloss Forced, fucking, forgive the swearing, Forced, that's the one that's ready to use. It's really good. It almost feels like a concentrate, very powerful. It almost feels like you could knock it down. So yeah, that's the dilemma I've got. Do I let things like that influence me? Because I don't know what's going on with that. Why it's what that is. What is that? I don't know. Could do some Googling, but be blagging it. Yeah. Do I let, you know, it's never nice when you get bits and stuff in products, but Surfex HD, if I mix that with tap water, it calcinifies and blocks up the filters in my sprayers. So I mix it with DI water to get around that problem. Is that calcinification? I don't think it is, because it was doing it when it was neat. There was something shaky in there, gritty, like crystalline. So something's going on there. Yeah, sodium, sodiumy. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I'm interested to see how this Shiny Garage one goes. I've got a feeling that's going to be powerful, but this definitely has, I think it even says it, I think this has sodium hydroxide in it, because it's got a slight twang, a crunch. Yeah, it's got that slight twang. It's hard to describe, but I think that's got sodium hydroxide in it, and citrus oil as well. Don't get me wrong, which is probably going to make this one turbocharged. But I don't like sodium hydroxide. Try to generally avoid that. It's a good. It's not always a bad thing to have it there, but yeah, we'll have your little things, don't you? So there we go. You know, this one I know is a really good product, but this one has got a bad start because not because of concentration. Because concentration on it's very good, but because of price, it's one of the most expensive. I think possibly, yeah, one of the most expensive. So loses marks there, and it's got to try and then catch all that marks up. And if another one like this, for example, performs just as well in cleaning duties, but then it's got an extra like 20 marks because it's a quarter of the price, it might not be able to bridge that difference unless it performs amazingly in all of them. And this one shows me some problems, perhaps with the safety tests, or perhaps it doesn't degrease very well. I think it does though. I think this is all right, this stuff. Yeah. You can't tell from smelling, but when you got the nails, you know. See, that stinks of citrus, and not citrus scent. That stinks of genuine citrus. It has a slight solventy smell to that lovely fragrant orange smell, which you get with the citrus. Does smell lovely, but it has a slight solvent smell with it. It's quite strong. With this one, for example, fill it off here. Scared the nears. This one is loaded with scent, and it's an amazing scent. Don't get me wrong. If I sold a citrus pre-wash, I would. That scent is the money. It smells incredible. It has a real like tangerine, fresh tangerine juice smell, but it's not a natural citrus smell. So that's scented, in my opinion. If it isn't, Jesus, they're using some rare tangerine peel rather than orange peel. It just smells very good. But because it's heavily scented, in my opinion, I lose the ability to really see if I can smell that solventy citrus. So yeah, there we go. I've done a separate video on this. I'm going to try and use it a little bit more. I've gone through a bottle of this one before, so I know that. These two I need to play around with a bit more outside of the testing, just because I haven't used them much. I've had enough goes with these two to know. That one I've gone through 5 litres of. I know that one. Probably need to play around with these two a little bit more. That one I need to definitely play around with a little bit more. These two I know very well. They use that down at Fresh Lads every now and then. They've used that one as well, so I know those. This one I don't know too well either. So beyond testing them, I'm trying to blast my way through some of the product, just cleaning wheels and just using them how I would if I owned them, you know. So there we go, guys. Hope you don't mind me just doing some informal stuff for the backup channel. I think some of you that are into this find all this thought process stuff interesting, and I get some good feedback, you know, and good ideas from you guys. So put in the comments, you know, what you think. I'm going to lean on my car. Don't panic. Getting old. Some people put through you should do X, Y, Z, X this, Y, Z, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, the whole alphabet that I should do. And you have to factor in how long it takes to do all this and film it. Then come up with a presentation. I have to try and really make a video that should really be 15 minutes, not 15 hours. And I always fail. I try and do it really quickly, get all the stuff together, do my little dialogue thing, edit it all together. Think, John, get it down to 15 minutes, and it comes out like 47 minutes. Oh, Jesus, I've been talking too much again. So yeah, that's part of my problem. I'm not very good with all that stuff, as you know by now, but it's not about my presentation or editing skills, which are non-existent. It's really about wanting, what's driving this is I want to know what is the best product. I want to know what the best product is. It's that simple. I'm not trying to smash anything here. I'm not trying to, you know, be a hero. I just want to know what the best product is, because I'm only doing this once, you know. I'm not going back and doing citruses again, and I want to carry on using the product that I recommend, and I don't want to find 3 or 4 months down the line I discover a problem with it and have to use something else. So that's always a possibility. Very rarely though, isn't it? These are all kind of tried and tested. So that's my thing. Again, the lineup is taken by consulting my patrons, and me, I pick a few that I think are going to be hot. You know, you've got to have the Valet Pro in there. That's got to be in there. So like one of the first ones that was, you know, I will always try and get the Angel Wax in there. I haven't used this, but everyone says it's really good. Price is decent, concentration is good. This I know is good. That's cheap. These just were requested, so they're in. Good brands, you know, I like Wax Planet, Infinity Wax. These, again, very popular brands. We'll always try and get these in there. Even if they don't win, don't preempt it, though, John. Don't preempt it. This, I thought, had no chance because of the price, but I used it once and I was really impressed with it. Yeah, it was good stuff. And then I thought, that's really special. Then I used that one. I thought, well, that's actually really good as well. A bit more foamy though, less oily. Yeah, these ones, no idea. That I ploughed through when I had 5 litres of it, because I just used to, you can mix it up to 1 to 25, I think. Yeah, God, I'm good. 1 to 25, but I just used to like mix it 1 to 4, 1 to 5. It's mega strong. I used to clean my wheels with it and, you know, clean out the engine and fill a cap of the car, those grimy areas, you know. And it was fine. It gets down your lungs a little bit, made me sort of cough. But it was fine. I thought, God, I'd buy that again for 14 quid. But I don't know how citrus rich it is. That's the thing. I mean, it will have limonene in it. They've also made the mistake. God, how long is this video? 26 minutes just for this segment. They've also made the mistake, these two brands, of colouring them yellow and scenting them of lemon. I've talked about that, I'm sure. I'm getting deja vu here. I've talked about that before. I wouldn't do that with the citrus because of the citral factor that I've talked about before. A lot of cleaning products, they put something called citral in them, which is a derivative of lemon skin. It's very cheap. It doesn't do much, unlike limonene, which is very expensive and works as a mild solvent. So by putting citral into a product, you can make it feel like zesty and lemony and kind of citrusy, but it's not the same as using D-limonene, and that's the expensive stuff. So yeah, they could have made, I think they've made a mistake by going too yellow and too lemony. That's the way to go. That's the way to go. Okay guys, so let me know your thoughts. Take care. See you later.